Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on inside to another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I am your host this morning, Processor Sky, here with another episode of Canna News Thursday, where we break down the latest and greatest in cannabis news stories. Welcome on in to the Weekday Wake and Bake, going live every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time with your favorite cannabis content. And today's Thursday episode is always centric around cannabis news from around the globe. And we do have some global cannabis news this morning to touch on. Super excited to do that and to smoke some herb with you guys as we do every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, because after all, it's stoner law. We have awoke, so now we smoke. And I have some Georgia pie on deck today. Be smoking on some of this Georgia pie, little hybrid action going this morning, and I am so excited as always to be smoking up with the Roll Gangers on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, and getting on into it and on with our day nice and early. So 8 a.m. Pacific time every weekday morning. Brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. Guys, this rolling spoon helps me to roll a dime every single time. I have this awesome show grow spoon here. It is the first ever dispensary edition of the rolling spoon, an absolute classic. So basically, I'm going to use it to roll a dime here so we can smoke it and get on into the cannabis news. But while I roll up this dime with my Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, let's chat about Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college and the predominant place to gain your cannabis industry education. Guys, if you are looking to put something legitimate on your resume, cannabis related, look no further than Oaksterdam University. Whether you're trying to work at a cultivation or at a dispensary, or if you're trying to start your own cannabis business, Oaksterdam University will give you all of the knowledge you need to succeed in the cannabis industry and claim your stake in this budding business. Oaksterdam University, promo code Rolling Spoon, helping you not only to roll a dime every time, but also helping you to get 10% off tuition at Oaksterdam University. Promo code Rolling Spoon for your 10% scholarship to go and study cannabis. Major shout out Oaksterdam University, the Harvard of cannabis colleges, operating for 15 years. Go and get your cannabis education now. And this morning's episode is brought to you by the Chamber of Cannabis, ladies and gentlemen, the best cannabis coalition in the country, helping to bring sustainability and reliability to the industry. Guys, we're just trying to smoke the herb, but there has to be someone who's caring about the legislation for this amazing plant. If you guys want to support the legislation, the Chamber of Cannabis is how you can become a part of the change. Join the Chamber today and come to this unbelievable banger of a Chamber of Cannabis event coming on October 14th. We are going to be throwing the fuck down. It is going to be an absolute blast at the Costume Ball, 2-year anniversary of the Chamber of Cannabis. Major shout out the Chamber for throwing this banger that's about to happen. I am so excited to be there next Friday. But anyways, without further ado, I have used my cannabis multi-tool to roll myself up a dime, just like every weekday morning. So let's spark it. I hope you guys are sparking up your joint or your bowl or your blunt, however you guys choose to wake and bake and participate this morning. Let me know in the comments section on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch what you guys are smoking on for your wake and bake. I got a joint ski of this Georgia pie, and I am so excited to puff on it and get on into this cannabis news. Woo! So it is Canna News Thursday, ladies and gents, and I am so excited to dive into these cannabis news stories with you guys. We got one from a national poll, we got one from California, we got Canada coming in, we got Colombia, and another national study for the United States. So a bunch of C's, California, Canada, and Colombia. International news, and then we have some poll news from the United States. So the first piece of cannabis news is of a national poll conducted by Morning Consult and Politico. The Morning Consult and Politico is a political poll founder that gives polls to United States citizens. And they had a couple thousand reply to their poll on how important cannabis legislation is in this country and how much of a priority it should be for Congress in the upcoming decision-making process. So, in this poll, 60% of a random sample size of United States voters say that cannabis should be legalized. Not just a majority, but a 60% majority. Guys, 10 years ago, cannabis was still considered a gateway drug and all these, it was only the devil's lettuce. Oh, someone caught their kid smoking weed. Oh, no way. Can't believe that kid was smoking weed. That type of situation. But now we have more support for the plant than we do negativity. 60% of Americans supporting cannabis legislation, according to this poll by Morning Consult and Politico. And also an awesome piece, 49% of the poll says that cannabis legislation should be a top priority of Congress in the upcoming decision-making process. So basically half of Americans think that cannabis legislation is one of the most important factors in the upcoming movement of legislation, and honestly, the wave is so real, Roll Gang. It is so exciting to be a part of the cannabis wave here in the United States, and I'm just so pumped that half of Americans say that it should be a top priority to legalize cannabis. Not only does a majority of Americans think it should be legal, but half of Americans think it's one of the top priorities to change legislation in the upcoming decision-making progress. So let's go, Congress. Let's get on with it. We gotta legalize it here soon. Yo, shout out Canna Queen Jolene, smoking on some Grape Escape by Homage this morning. That sounds delicious. I hope you're enjoying that Grape Escape. And we don't, that's the only kind of escape we need, because we're smoking this pot and it's gonna be legal here soon. We don't want to have to escape anything else, if you know what I mean. Escaping, no, never mind. Get the fuck out of here, Processor. Let's keep going. Anchorman Processor Sky here with your cannabis news from around the globe. The next piece of cannabis news comes from the great state of California. here on the West Coast, the motherland of the cannabis industry. California is funding research. All right, one sec. Let me get a rip. I'm going a little bit too fast here, Roll Gang. That feels good. I got some Georgia pie, smoking on some Georgia pie, while Queen Jolene smoking on the Grape Escape. Hope you all the Roll Gangers got their wake and bakes lit right now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So California is funding research on blocking big businesses in the cannabis industry and protecting legacy strains. So basically the baseline for the cannabis industry around the world, everybody who is looking to get legalized in cannabis is studying California right now. So California always on the cutting edge of studying what's next in the cannabis industry. And realizing that cannabis is such a grassroots, small business-centric industry, California is funding research to keep big businesses out of the cannabis industry and make sure that monopolies don't happen for big pharma or tobacco companies that are going to come in with enormous amount of capitals and try to take over the industry. So great news for small businesses in California and in cannabis in general. I think this industry is going to be very small business centric because if you increase batch size, you're going to decrease quality. So how good your cannabis is completely dependent on the batch size of the cultivation. So California trying to keep big businesses out of the industry, making sure small businesses still get to run supreme in cannabis in California. And also California is funding research to protect legacy strains in the industry there. So basically our OG Kushes, our Granddaddy Perks, maybe even cookies, shout out Burner. But legacy strains and land races such as Afghani or Thai, need to be protected and need to have the ability to, be respected. And legally, California is starting to protect these legacy strains, seeing to make sure that they don't die off, the mother plants don't get cut down for no reason, and the legacies can continue because there are some really, really amazing strains coming out. And they'll go down in history if we keep them alive long enough. So shout out California for protecting the legacy strains in the industry and researching blocking big businesses into the industry. So the next piece of cannabis news comes from Canada. But before I get on into it, let's talk about Oaksterdam. And Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college in the world, from sea to shining sea, Alaska to the desert of the Mojave to, China. The first ever cannabis college. Gain your stake in this amazing industry and increase your cannabis knowledge by going to Oaksterdam University. Use promo code Rolling Spoon for 10% off your cannabis industry education, because this baby isn't just good to help you roll a dime every time. It helps you to pack your bowl and to get your cannabis education at Oaksterdam University. So Canada has just begun reimbursing military vets for their medical cannabis purchases who, they're veterans who use medical cannabis for PTSD and the injuries sustained on the battlefront. Honestly, catch up, America. For real, catch up. Canada is giving their vets free weed. What a better way to convince someone to support your country, lay their life on the line for their country. When they're done, they're allowed to just be stoners and smoke free, clean herb from the legal cannabis market in Canada, helping to relieve PTSD and the pain they may have endured through serving their country. So their country's paying for their weed. And weed is a natural resource, so it's super cheap there. I mean, unbelievable legislation in Canada and movement. Come on, America. That is so rational. Why? We're just south of Canada, yet we're so far behind. It is unbelievable and extremely disappointing. Shout out Canada for reimbursing their war vets. Medical cannabis purchases are free if you're a veteran suffering from PTSD or injuries sustained at the war. Make your quality of life so much better. I mean, they're giving their vets free weed. Unbelievable. Huge clap to Canada. Shout out. The next piece of cannabis news also is global, coming from the country of Colombia. That's right. So Colombia just officially legalized cannabis countrywide. Colombian Kush, ladies and gentlemen. But not only that, Colombian President Petro is pushing for a global cannabis reform. He's like, no, we don't need to just legalize here. We need to help make sure other countries value cannabis legislation too. Unbelievable, President Petro. Thank you for your support of this amazing plant. You will not regret legalizing it in your country. It will increase the quality of life. It will decrease ailments, sickness, pain, and prescription drug abuse. Just drug abuse in general. It's really hard to get addicted to cannabis. It's a self-prescribing situation. We like to get up, medicate every morning on the weekday wake and bake with your processor and get on with our day. This is our medicine. We're not, cigarette smokers, or it doesn't make you nervous. It increases your mindset. So Colombia officially legalizing cannabis. Let's see what happens, It's been a great thing for everywhere else. So maybe Procession will be taking a trip to Colombia soon. So the last piece of cannabis news is one more study, a national study here in the United States. But before I get on into it, major shout out the Chamber of Cannabis Justice Commerce Community, the most amazing cannabis coalition and collection of industry professionals. Guys, we're going to be throwing down for this costume ball on October 14th. But listen, the ball is a fundraiser for the Chamber of Cannabis. Why do you want to give funds to the Chamber of Cannabis? Roll Gang, it is so important that we are contributing as much as we can to the legislation and the movement of this industry. We don't have the resources to go into, the political system and have our voice heard. The Chamber is writing the rules to move forward in the industry, reforming cannabis DUIs, writing and founding the bill for the consumption lounges here in Vegas, just keeping on moving the ball forward in the cannabis industry. You guys can literally support this amazing movement by coming to the party of the year. All you have to do is buy tickets, come to the party, throw in the raffle or whatever's going on at the event, get medicated off your ass and have some fun with some industry professionals. At Chamber of Cannabis on Instagram is where you can go to get your tickets and contribute to this amazing coalition that's keeping the ball rolling for this industry. We don't have the power as individuals to make change. We can't. You're at least talking to somebody who's going to make the change. We can't do it ourselves. Do not underestimate the power of small groups unified by a good cause. cannabis industry, stoned professionals is the slogan of the Chamber of Cannabis, justice, commerce, community. Come to this event, October 14th. It is going to be an absolute banger. So the last piece of cannabis news before your processor gets to go and take off the Anchorman cap and finish up this joint. A brand new study finds that cannabis prohibition puts consumers at risk of consuming contaminated product. No fucking shit. I mean, cannabis being illegal allows people, on the black market to put whatever they want in it or grow it however they want and sell it. A lot of people are growing it in shit, which is actually probably a good way to grow pot, but you gotta make sure it's clean in there. You need the right nutrients for your plant, but cleanliness is a factor. And you guys know that shit can be laced. If you're buying cannabis on the black market, they're sprinkling fentanyl in the packs. And you can literally die if you get too much. But cannabis isn't addictive enough. So plugs will sprinkle in addictive substances to make their cannabis hit different. And this is all because it's still illegal. As soon as we can go to this dispensary and buy some affordable medicine, no more dirty weed. No fucking shit. So a study finds that the cannabis prohibition is putting consumers at risk of consuming contaminated product. Probably the most obvious piece of cannabis news here, but I got all this cannabis news from Marijuana Moment, mjmoment.com. It is a great place to get all of your cannabis news, but I just love to come on here live every Canna News Thursday, put on the Anchorman cap, Anchorman Processor Sky, and share the cannabis news with the Roll Gang. Smoke up every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You guys know exactly where to find me. Brought to you by the Chamber of Cannabis, Oaksterdam University, and the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. Absolute pleasure session with you guys every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow is Fuck Yeah Friday. But it's not only Fuck Yeah Friday, Roll Gang. Tomorrow is International Spoon Day. Look it up. International Spoon Day. Tomorrow on Fuck Yeah Friday. You guys gotta tune in to see the fiasco that's about to go down. This has been a great week of Weekday Wake and Bakes thus far, trying to catch up on my schedule. The last couple weeks have been fucking crazy in Oakland, California, and Surprise, Arizona for Oaksterdam event and the Tennis National Championships. But getting back into the flow of things, got some super hype news to announce tomorrow on the show for National Spoon Day, and I cannot wait to get into it. Shout out to the Roll Gangers on Instagram, tuning in. JJ's Flock wants it legal. So do I. We all want cannabis legal. Available to buy direct from the craft farmer. That's exactly how it needs to be done. Farmer's market style. Shout out JJ's Flock for tuning in at JJ's Flock on Instagram. Shout out everybody tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So much love to every single one of you guys. I will see you tomorrow morning with another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. Your Processor Sky out.